Because this Lisbon Treaty now is in force, does that mean ultimately we'll lose pints of beer and pounds in our pockets?
We're always fighting against that kind of thing. Pints have been on the agenda before, and we've partly lost the argument. We've still got pints of beer because their measurements take precedence over ours, and their monetary system does as well. It says in the Lisbon Treaty that the currency of the EU is the euro. So it assumes that one day we will fall into the euro because as a good state of the European Union, it's like the United States of America. They have the dollar and we're supposed to have the euro. And yeah, it's on the agenda, and we'll fight all the way, because once you've lost your currency, you've actually lost the ability to control your own economy. You can't do the interest rates, you can't manage the economy.
So what you're saying is it's inevitable, given time, we'll lose these things?
Given time, if we stay in the EU, we will lose completely our sovereignty. We've lost already most of it, because they're making all our laws. They make 75% now of our laws in Brussels. So the guys in Westminster are elected to sit on their backsides and do very little. They've abrogated their responsibility. They've given it away to Brussels. In fact, what I say is this. There is now one political party in Westminster. It's called the Lib Lab Con, and they have one policy, because they're a single issue party, this Lib Lab Con. The single issue is, let's give it all away to the EU and take the money, because that's what they do. So we won't need a House of Commons, because it'll all be done for us in Europe, and that is the sad fact.
Just something for you to ponder over, actually. Going back to the withdrawal clause, right? Yes. In the Vienna Convention on the Law of Treaties, you can repudiate a treaty.
Yes.
However, if it's got, as in Lisbon, the withdrawal clause, if you're going to just say have a referendum on that particular treaty, to say, right,
no,
shall we have it in or out, or the big UK...
I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying. What we would do is, if elected, we would actually repeal the enabling legislation from the 1970s, and all the rest of the legislation then would fall. So any subsequent acts based on that original treaty just fall. So we would clear the actual street of all of those different treaties.
Just taking this one instance of Lisbon.
Yeah. Well, that would fall.
Say, right, you can't use that withdrawal clause if it's been lodged in the Vienna Convention on the Law of Treaties. Because you can't just say, right, we'll forget about the euro then, or whatever. You can't just take one item.
Nobody's going to tell this country specifically what to do like that, because if UKIP were elected, we would be elected by the people to actually withdraw from the European Union, and that would be the democratic voice of this country. We wouldn't even need a referendum, because if we were elected, that would be our #1 policy, and we get on and do that. We would actually repeal the enabling legislation, and all of those other stupid treaties would fall with it. And that's the end of the story. And if somebody in Switzerland thinks that's a bad idea, then I'm sorry, but hard cheese.
Yeah, so really truly, although the withdrawal clause is there, if you go through the route of sending it,
yeah,
it can. Thank you.
That's what we do anyway, because frankly, it breaks all the rules anyway. The Queen should have never signed the treaty off, because it breaks her coronation oath, and it just isn't what we're elected to do in this country.
Yeah, unfortunately, it is her loyal and true government ministers that decide through their authority on Her Majesty's behalf.
Her Majesty has a problem, because on the one hand she has her responsibilities with her coronation oath, and then another one with her government, who are elected by the people. So she can't really not sign, because she has to say the people elected these idiots who want to do this, and there's very little I can do about it. But in the final analysis, if she really got cross, she wouldn't sign, and then we'd have a problem between the monarchy and the government, which nobody wants. But that is still, even now, a possibility in these modern times.